MOvember 2020, day 12. This video is a short video to describe a list that I have. It's a list of Patrick Carnes's. He's a sex addiction therapist. Tools for objectification. We're coming into summer. It can be a really triggering time for sex and love addicts, male and female. People are wearing less clothes. The fashion can get more revealing, and it becomes more disorientating. Also, with this time, 2020, people have been in lockdown, and we've been, usually away from a lot of other people. So to be able to get back out, warm weather, beaches, swimming pools, and now we're out of lockdown, it can also just be that circumstance where we haven't been around it for a while and we haven't regulated well. So these are a bunch of tools I'm going to read through from Dr. Patrick Carnes that he uses in the Gentle Path program to help people to adjust when they've given up sexual objectification and fantasy, that when they get out there, if they're not looking at porn and not accessing it that way anymore, the new porn becomes not porn and real life experiences where we start to ogle and objectify others. So, tool number one, eye bouncing, noticing but looking away. This tool's really handy when there's lots of people around, you're at a beach or a mall, and you don't let your gaze fixate on any one thing. You just sort of take in things and you move it around. Might feel a little odd, but we just let our eyes bounce and we don't fix on one thing. And that can be a way to just be able to feel more comfortable at noting there's a lot of data around us, but we're just going to move our gaze to the safest place within that environment. The other one is the 3-second rule. Now, the 3-second rule gets commonly misunderstood, that I look for 3 seconds, and that's not it. The first look sometimes is on God or the way we're created. We're meant to be able to notice something that's attractive to us based on our arousal template. But the idea is if we're suffering from this addiction, we need to stop, look away, and either affirm or pray, depending on what your belief system is. If you're a spiritual person, you might pray. If you're an atheist or agnostic, you might go to an affirmation. This isn't who I want to be. I want to be a better man, a better woman. I want to be there for my family, etc. And the other thing is sometimes the first look doesn't even have to be on God and our makeup and arousal. We don't need to take a look in our periphery to see if that's something we shouldn't look at. If you're really wanting to keep yourself in a safe place, then just acknowledge that I don't even have to look to know I can't look. I can just practice that affirming before I even go into trying to take a second glance. Humanizing. Now, this if this doesn't trigger fantasy, it's a good tool. This is someone's wife, mother, husband, son, daughter that we want to be a safe human being, somebody that people can come to for help, not be abused or ogled or objectified. Fantasy or image contamination. So if we know something very particular triggers us, then we might want to link it to something disorientating, something weird, just linking it to a yellow Volkswagen, or just try and take our mind off it, or link it to something, really painful, an outcome that, like in Alcoholics Anonymous, they think. So think this through. Where will this end up? And because a lot of the time what addicts are doing, we're distorting reality and going into fantasy. So make it real. If we acted out in this, what would actually happen? What's the real consequence? Walk away and pray. So leave the situation. You might need to leave a cafe. You might need to change your seating. You might need to go to another beach. If you're just finding it too triggering, walk away and either affirm yourself, practice affirming yourself in some self-compassion. If you're a spiritual person, you might want to access your relationship with God. Distraction techniques, singing, using stress balls, push-ups, going for a brisk walk. I'm constantly challenged with guys saying, look, I just couldn't help it. I felt so aroused. I woke up with an erection. I woke up in the middle of the night. I couldn't get back to sleep. And I'm thinking, mate, stand in a cold shower for 10 minutes. That'll get rid of your arousal. Do 20 push-ups. Do some star jumps. Change your state. Go for a run or a brisk walk. Move. Get moving. Don't sit there literally looking at it, wondering if it's going to go away. Do something else. Distract yourself. Juggle. Get your mind doing something else. Play an instrument. It doesn't really matter. Something else, right? We don't need to stop for a lifetime. I just need to stop for the next couple of minutes. Choose seating wisely. Addicts sometimes subconsciously would sit and get the best access, the street view, the whole restaurant. It's a real paradigm shift for us to choose a place where we're sitting facing the person that we're with, whether it be a partner or a friend. Stay engaged instead of disassociating through objectifying. Engage in a personal tool of connection. Again, if possible, don't. A lot of people who objectify and go into fantasy step away, and they don't engage with a person. Engage if that's not part of your arousal template. Get to know them. What are you there for? Who are they? And that way, make it again like humanizing something. Get us a personal connection with them in an appropriate way. Avoidance techniques, in their momentary interventions, we're just trying to snap us out of the impulsive moment of objectifying, so it can be counting to from 10 backwards, touching all your fingertips and that little things. You might have worry beads or something you play with, just something that you're going to do in the moment to distract you. Singing your favorite song lyrics, etc. Avoiding people, places, and things that are triggering. I think early on in recovery, we do have to have an element of restraint, especially with things like objectifying, where we might have got that from the problem from pornography and sexual imagery. We might need to have things on our devices. We might need to limit going to certain places, hanging out with certain people, and even certain things we might need to let go of for a while. Acknowledge and talk about fantasy as soon as possible. Not necessarily with our partner. I think it bombards them with lots of unnecessary data. If we go into ritual and acting out, absolutely. But our peers and sponsors, therapists, people that are there to help us, absolutely share them when we're triggered. And certainly in a weekly check-in, you might share, I've had some trouble with fantasy this week, and this is what's happened as a result of that, and this is what I did in my recovery to support myself. Drive a different route. If you found that you took the beach route or the scenic route where people are congregating or walking or exercising, lots of yoga pants or lots of power dressing, you might want to take a different route. You might want to sit in a different place in the train or in your public transport. Hold ice in your hands. Again, a momentary distraction. It gets you focused mindfully into a different part of your reality than going into obsession. Journal, but not about the fantasy. Journal about the consequences and the reality. What would this cost it? Think it through, write it out. Where would this take me if I went there? Don't indulge the fantasy. That's not the point of this. We're trying to bring ourselves back to the safest ground we can stand. Rubber band, it's an old-fashioned one, but snap out of it. Again, not to do it if you're a self-harmer, but a momentary disorientating, reorientating back to who we really want to be in our potential. Mindfulness techniques, box breathing, focus on our breath, awareness of our body feelings and sensations, slow down and get calm, get grounded. And that could come as a guided visualization or meditation, a body scan, focusing on our breath, box breathing, calm down, slow down, get grounded, regulate your state. And the other one's a letter to self. And I was thinking about this. I have a letter to self on my computer, and I remember putting it together with all the recent things that I would have to lose: my children, my wife, my business, the things that are really important to me. So I'm going to try and work out in this video how to add that to this, just to give you an example. One of the things that we do when we get lost in objectifying is we go into fantasy, and it takes us away and distorts reality. So when it's really good to have a letter to self, something that's on your phone or in your wallet that you can look at, and it's sort of basically saying, if you're reading this, you're in trouble or you're triggered, and you've asked me to remind you of all the things that are really important to you in regards to your sobriety. So therefore, I hope these tools are helpful. If you got any questions, put it in the comments. Please, I never really do the whole subscribe to this channel thing. I just put these things out as tools for clients, hoping that they can access them post session. For MOvember, I'd shave my mo in today. I got rid of the goatee. I sort of miss the goatee now, but growing a mo for men's health is the whole point. I'm wearing my sort of mo badge there. And so pass this on to anyone you think might benefit from it. Look for a therapist that knows about certified sex addiction therapy or betrayal trauma if you're in trouble and struggling out there. And yeah, tune in to my MOvember channel and make a donation if you can. It's a good cause. Be gentle with your heart. See you again tomorrow.